Well, hey guys, welcome back to Not Your College Life. I'm Lisa Beals, your host. I'm the mom to help the mom who is sick and tired of all the red tape and the bureaucracy and the punting that happens in higher education when you're just trying to help your kid figure it out. I'm your girl. This week's episode is a little fun. Sort of tongue-in-cheek, but not really, because girls, ladies, moms, can I just tell you how many times my daughters have looked at me to say, "You never told me that"? How many things do we just assume? Kids naturally know, but we've never intentionally taken the time to show them. So that's what this episode is about. I want to cover all the things that you need to make sure that you are teaching your student before you send them off to college. Okay? It's going to be fun. Okay, so let's start this off. First things first is find the document that will allow your student to authorize you to speak to a healthcare provider, to get information about their health. Because moms and dads, these kiddos are turning 18. And that means HIPAA kicks in, and the providers still welcome your pay. They still welcome your money, but now the records are confidential. I don't know what the impetus, I don't know what the foundation, I don't know what the trigger was behind HIPAA laws, but y'all, as a parent with a young adult, man, it's a killer, right? HIPAA and FERPA, they both kill you. Everybody wants their hand out for your money, but when it comes time to share information, you got to figure out how to circumvent the system. So I'm going to tag, if you are one of my subscribers, you're going to have access to my privately curated Pinterest board where I've got all the shortcuts for you in there. But so number one is have your student complete the necessary authorizations for you to be able to have conversations with their healthcare provider. Okay? Your student needs to know how to continue their medical or psychological care. So if your kiddo has a chronic healthcare condition, whether it is their physical or emotional health, you need to show them, start baby steps. How do they maintain that care? Is it scheduling an appointment, finding a provider, figuring out the billing and the insurance and the copay? Help them figure that out. Similarly, they need to know how to identify where to go for treatment if they need it. If they have a broken if they have a broken bone, if they need sutures, if they need antibiotics, where are they going to go to get that care? How do they even search for it? These are things that we've figured out, and maybe your kiddo knows how to do this, but maybe not. It's also important to help them distinguish the difference in urgent care, minute clinic, and emergency room. And it's not just level of care, it's level of copay. It's a big deal. I will tell you, my 23-year-old has learned the difference between the minute clinic and the ER because she had to pay a $2,000 copay for an emergency room visit for an ultrasound that really didn't change her treatment plan. That's an expensive lesson. Teach your kiddo before they have that. Insurance cards. What are they? Why do they need them? Where should they maintain them? Should they take a picture of it? Should they store it in their wallet? Should they keep it on their person? Should they keep it in their room? Help them understand what the information is on their insurance cards and how to use it when they need to seek care. Number 5 is their social security number. They need to memorize this. If they don't have it already, they need to memorize it. The last thing we all want is that your kiddo walking around with their social security card in their pocket and they've dropped it in their dorm room and it's stolen or lost, whatever. I know when I was a kid, Social Security card was something I carried with my driver's license. Now, in the world of identity theft, your Social Security number is something you want in your brain. You want it in your brain, not in your hand, not in your wallet, not in your room. Number 6 is renter's insurance. So help them navigate investigating, is any of their possessions covered under your homeowner's insurance, or do you need to teach them how to actually get a renter's insurance policy and why they would need renter's insurance? Right? That's part of the lesson, is not just teaching them what to do, but the why. I am a big why person. You could tell me what to do all over the place, and I'm not going to do it unless I understand the rationale behind it. Drives my husband crazy, but that's how I roll. Okay, next is eyes. So ensuring they have if they wear contacts or glasses, do they have a backup? Do they know what their prescription is? Do they know how to get a replacement if they need them? These are things you all handle. They need to be taught how to do it. Number 8, a first aid kit. They need to put together a first aid kit for their dorm room or apartment with appropriate medications and first aid materials. Great lesson. Number 9, flying. They need to learn how to fly solo. They need to learn how to check a bag, how to get a boarding pass, what ID they need to have with them, whether it's a driver's license or a passport, how that boarding pass is either on their phone or a piece of paper, what they need to do to get through security, how to learn what the current security guidelines are. Those are changing all the time. They should not rely on mom to tell them, what do I need to know about getting through security? They need to go to the TSA website and learn about that. How much time do they need to give them to get there, to get through security, to get to their gate? These are great things for them to learn. Okay. Medical information. They need to know their own medical history. Surgeries, hospitalizations, allergies. Mom and dad are not going to be there every time to answer the questions of medical history. So make sure they know what their own allergies, surgeries, hospitalizations are, and then any family histories that are relevant and important. Okay? That's a great conversation to have. Roommate. What a great icebreaker. I think they'll argue with that. But introduce yourself to your roommate. Get their contact information. Find out their cell number, ideally a parent or emergency contact of your roommate, because if you're not looking out for each other, who is? Okay. And then any other really important information, like, if your roommate has a nut allergy, isn't it really good for you to know that they might go into anaphylactic shock if they get exposed to nuts? So, yeah, little intro with your roommates, share some important details. Prescription medication. Do they have it? How are they storing it? How are they refilling it? Do they understand how they should take it? Empty stomach, with food, twice a day, 3 times a day, before bed. Make sure. Don't assume anything. You ask them. Let's talk about it. You're going to get the eye roll. You're going to get the eye roll. Get over the eye roll. You don't care. It's built into them, right? But you're still going to need to have the conversation. Let's talk about your prescriptions. Where are you going to refill them? How do you take them? How frequently do you take them? What side effects do you need to watch for? Okay, number 13 is similar to HIPAA. It's FERPA. So FERPA is the equivalent of HIPAA, but it's related to their education. So when it's not just when they turn 18, because you could have a 16-year-old going to college and you're not going to get access to their information. Again, they'll take your money, but they won't let you in. So my recommendation is, rather than asking for your student's login, don't get their login and password. Don't. That's just my recommendation. Don't. It's too tempting. Instead, for accountability, if you are footing the bill, whether for tuition, for housing, whatever, if you are supporting, if your student is still your dependent, you still have every right to say, at the end of each semester, you're just going to send me a transcript. That's all I want. I want to see your transcript. And I want that transcript to come from the university to me, either in the mail or via email. I don't want it to be handed to me from you. Students in really difficult situations will do really stupid things. I cannot tell you how many times I have dealt with a parent whose student has created a fraudulent document and given it to the parent. And the parent is trusting their student. And why wouldn't they? Only to find 4 years later, when they're coming to campus for graduation, that their student had been kicked out 3 or more years ago. So, lay the foundation well. I expect a transcript from university to me. That's it. If you fail everything, then let's have a conversation. It's not judgment. It's a conversation. Number 14, budgeting. Talk about money. How much money should they expect to need for meals, for incidentals, for medication, for laundry? Help them now start figuring that out if you haven't already. Right? If you have not already taught your kiddo how to budget and manage money, now is the best time, right? The best time to learn something new is yesterday. The next best time is today. All right, number 15, how to use the phone for making phone calls, like reservations or calling for a tow for AAA. I can't tell you how many times that I would go through the drive-thru and we would end up pulling away because my kiddos refused to speak. So your phone is for more than texting and social media. It is for making phone calls. So now is the time to teach them how to have those conversations. Okay, number 15. They should know how to get cash, because sometimes a credit card or a debit card is not going to do it. So teach them how to use an ATM or to go to a box store and use their debit card to get cash back. You assume they know this, and maybe they do, but what if they don't? Sometimes you need cash. Number 17, teach them how to read a map. Whether it's a Google map or a paper map. Sometimes Google fails us. Y'all, who has not ended up in the wrong destination because Google's got some bad information? So teach your kiddos how to read a map, north, south, east, and west. Number 18, teach them they should know that if their stomach is upset or if they're recovering from the stomach flu, they should know the BRAT diet. What is the BRAT diet? When do you eat it? And what does it mean? And if you don't know what the BRAT diet is, message me. I'm happy to tell you. No judgment. No judgment. But y'all are parents. You should know what the BRAT diet is. Number 19. Your students should be able to complete a deposit form or write a check and to know how to cash it. They are not completely gone. They still exist. They should know how to use it. Number 20, the basics of laundry. Darks, whites, coloreds, hot water versus cold water, fabric softener, liquid, detergent, where does it go in, How much do you add? What settings do you turn it on? If they don't already know it, bonus points to y'all that have done this already. I was a little late in the game. I think my kids were like juniors and seniors in high school before I pushed them on the laundry. That was more of a control freak of me. Did not serve me. It did not serve me well. So if you haven't already, before they go to college, you need to teach them the basics of laundry. Number 21, whether you have a daughter or a son, they should know how to tie a suit tie. Google it. Google it. Okay, number 22, how do you pay utilities? This is a good one, right? Do I have options for utilities, or is there only one option? Is there just one gas company? Are there multiple? Why do I have to pay sanitation and water? And should there be a correlation? How do I know if there's a problem when I get my bill? What can I do to keep my bill manageable? Okay. 23, the basics of cooking. I was terrible at this, but in my defense, my mom didn't teach me anything. I had a stay-at-home mom. She did it all. She did it all, and I expressed no interest in learning how to do it. And yeah, I have burnt many things. So teach your kiddo the basics. Even if you need to pull up the YouTube to teach him, boil water, bake a potato, open soup and heat it on the stove. Similarly, number 24, they need to understand the shelf life of food, right? So many things you buy from the grocery are going to have a best use or expiration date. But what happens when you cook it and you put the leftovers in the fridge? Do your kids know how long those things should be good for? Or are they simply waiting for the fur or the fungus? In which case, the BRAT diet kicks in again, right? So teach them the basics of shelf life in the refrigerator. Number 25, they need to know what should and should not go in the microwave. This, I'm guilty. I assumed my daughter knew that metal forks don't go in the microwave. She learned that the hard way and then gave me crap that I never taught her that. So, may seem silly, may seem elementary. You ask them, do you know that foil metal things don't go in the microwave? Ask them. Number 26, do they know that you should not sit in the garage or an unventilated location with the car running, and why? Do they know that? Have you told them? Number 27, do they know how to tip? Do they know what's an appropriate tip? Number 28, they should be able to book their own flights, check their own bags, check into their own flight. Some of us didn't learn that until we were like 30-something, but that's okay. Number 29, they should have some idea about how to do their own taxes, or at minimum, the paperwork and information they need to be able to have their taxes done by someone else. So what is an I-9? What are dependents? What is withholding? Give them the basics. And if you don't know, what a great time to learn it together. I have to remind myself anytime I do a job change. Now, I haven't done a job change in 10 years, but it was a good refresher with my girls when they have pivoted jobs. Okay, what do I want to report on my I-9 so that I'm not having to pay at tax time? Number 30 is how to address an envelope or to populate appropriately your address in an online form. And this is coming from personal grievance and experience. The number of students that don't know how to properly complete address field 1, address field 2, address field 3, city, state, zip code. It's ridiculous. Please make sure your kid knows how to do that. And last of all, This is not a numbered tip. This is remind your student that there will never be another first to their college life. There will never be a second first time as a freshman, another first as a sophomore, another first as the senior. Just remind them to stop and soak it all in. Stop and soak it in. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Share this with someone who you know has a kiddo heading away to college this fall, and make sure they know that they can subscribe to my channel either on YouTube or on whatever podcast platform they listen to. And if you want to go to lisabeals.com and subscribe to my email list, you will gain access to my Pinterest boards for each episode that I do create a Pinterest board for, or go follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm at Not Your College Life with your host, Lisa Beals. And thank you so much, you guys. I am here to serve, and I hope this was helpful to you all. Take care.